Thank you, Bill. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. What a fantastic turnout. My name's Edward Silver. I'm an editor in the business section of the Los Angeles Times, and I am a writer for our investment blog, which is called Money and Company. I contribute the content about green investing, alternative energy, energy issues mainly, fossil fuel and renewable. In the past, I was an analyst. I was a tech stock analyst at Robertson Stephens, the late great investment bank in San Francisco that some of you may remember. It was long ago, once upon a time, it was a pioneer of finance in Silicon Valley. And I used to write the Investor's Edge column for the paper. I guess those are the highlights. And what I try to do, although I mainly write about stocks, I'm trying to sort of open up the boundaries of the subject. And the way I think about it is I'm trying to narrate the way the renewable energy industries and the conservation industries, et cetera, are being built as they're being built right now. A lot is changing very quickly, and it's really quite exciting, although sort of painful this year. And it's a lot to keep track of. Very broad subject. Thanks a lot.
Hi, excuse me, Brett Conrad, and I run Longboard Capital Advisors. My primary business is that I've got a limited partnership, a hedge fund essentially, and I manage that portfolio. It's a long-short fund. I focus on clean energy and clean technology, so both on in terms of energy on the demand and supply side, and then I also work somewhat on pollution control too. So those are my areas of focus. And my background, interestingly, goes way back to when I was in college. I was working on my petroleum engineering degree, and when I was a junior, happened to pick up a book by Amory Lovins, who some of you may know. He's an energy expert that works for the Rocky Mountain Institute, one of the premier places where they work on that. Anyway, I read the book and decided, hey, this isn't for me. But I went ahead and got my degree, and just after starting several businesses, have come back all the way around and now run a clean tech investment advisory firm. So. I'm thrilled to be here and glad there's a lot of people out there thinking about their carbon footprint. I think that's going to be the key thing that's going to move us forward.
I'm Sandra Itkoff, and I work at Angelino Group, which is a private equity firm that invests in energy, alternative energy, and energy-related technologies. And we have two funds. One is fully invested, one is probably about 75% invested. We're out in the market right now raising our third fund. And we invest in a wide range of companies, generally not too early stage, but definitely on the earlier side. Primarily private companies, not public companies. We've had one company this summer that went public very successfully, just in time. And we invest in everything from solar, wind, mesh networking, wireless mesh networking, all sorts of things. And we look at it absolutely as a business, not as the good that it does is an added extra. But our investors are endowments, universities, foundations, high net worth individuals, and they all want a return. They might choose to take a slightly less return, which is not what we provide for them, but if they wanted to invest in other sorts of, I know there's all sorts of alternative energy investments and funds and stocks and things, but we focus definitely on trying to find businesses that will actually be quite profitable. We've been around for about 7 years. I've been part of the firm for 2 years. And we are looking to start a division of our company that will actually potentially invest in public companies and pool together smaller amounts of money from more average, not necessarily high net worth investors. And that's probably something that we're going to be focusing on in the next year. And my background is, as I say that we are primarily interested in earning money for our investors, my background is really, I started out in finance, very serious level of commitment and became a little disillusioned, dove into filmmaking, was a documentary filmmaker, made a film series called Cadillac Desert, which I don't know how many of you are familiar with the book. Yes, Mark Reisner. So produced that series of documentary films. And when I wanted to make a change again, this actually was a great collision of interest for me. So while it's definitely an investment company, it's really great to see what our companies are doing out there. And they're doing all sorts of great stuff, which maybe, I don't know if there'll be an opportunity to talk about that side of what we're doing as well.
I'm Ken Deemer. I'm a recovering engineer, but I've spent most of my career in the investment world, in venture capital and private investing. And I was one of the founders of a group called Tech Coast Angels about 10 or 12 years ago, which is a group of private investors here in Southern California that finance early stage, usually pre-venture capital types of deals in the technology and other areas. And so I've been involved with them as an individual investor for many years. But a few years ago, I started to get to kind of lose interest in yet another opportunity to play games on your cell phone or social network or sort of a lot of the kinds of things that you tend to see here in Southern California, and got more interested in how I could make a difference. And so I was also one of the founders of a group called LA Social Venture Partners, which is a group of philanthropists who make what we consider to be investments. They're really grants, but in entrepreneurial nonprofits, and we help them with areas of governance and marketing and business development. And so for me, I'm still very much an investor, but I've come to value the social aspect, the social value, social contribution of a business almost as much as the fundamentals of the opportunity and the team. So that's kind of the perspective that I tend to bring to things.
Hey guys, thanks for coming. I'm Andy Funk. I'm the managing director for a very opportunistic and early stage venture capital firm called Funk Ventures. We have been around for almost 9 years now, and I guess what kind of sets us apart is that we have a very environmental and social focus on investing. As I said, we're opportunistic. That means that we really invest at a very early stage, Series A, sometimes we even seed companies, so you really don't find that very often in this town or really anywhere in the country anymore. A lot of what venture capital has been about is it's no longer about, and that's really driving businesses at a very early stage to just as much growth as you can. So we've, I think, kind of stuck to our core philosophy, and that is to be really helping businesses get off the ground and finance them at a stage where they need the most help and the most capital early on. Now, when I say socially responsible and environmentally focused, what I really mean is that we have about 3 core buckets that we invest in, and those buckets comprise of medical technologies, health and wellness, and clean tech or green tech or whatever the latest buzzword is that you want to use. But on the clean tech side, I think it probably makes up for about 40 or 50% of our portfolio, and we invest anywhere from $100,000 all the way up to a few $1 million, but I think about $500,000 to $1 million is our sweet spot for our venture capital side of the business. And we also run a business accelerator which seeds companies very early on. You could just have a concept or a technology or some patent or idea, and if we believe in what you have to offer, then we would be willing to roll up our sleeves and get involved, and that's what we do.
So we have a great panel, so thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it.